You guys are fast. Don't mess around.
Yeah.
Let me use the restroom. What were you doing?
Hmm?
What were you doing?
The caps.
The caps? Set up the TIG welder.
Okay.
What's up, Mike? What you been working on this week? Ah, you already know what I've been working on. I've been working on the Hudson. Me and Byron, we got the floor done this week. I'm getting excited because we're getting ready to put the front end on. But we got the floor done. We mounted the tank. We got this pretty sick tank that we got. Anyways, welcome back, people. We're back. It's Friday. Yay, yay! Happy Friday. Hope you guys have a good Friday. Don't drink too much. Don't get all bello and crazy. Anyways, we got this sick. Go up, Byron. We got this sick tank that we mounted. We did the floor. I think you would show the floor. We did the floor. We got the floor done. We got this. We got the car looking solid. And it's like everybody knows like when you're working on stuff like this, you got like a hump, right? So right now we're on top of the hump. You know, we started. You tear it down, and you know what I mean. You start fabbing on it. You start working on it, doing all the fab work. We got it laid out, and now we got the floor done. So it's like going like this, going like this. To me, go a little bit higher, Byron.
A little bit higher.
To me, getting the floor done, it's like hitting on the top of the hump. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. We're there. And once we got the floor all solid, and we got the tank mounted, it's a cool tank because it's like a universal, but man, it fit perfect in here, dude. It's got the EFI setup because we're going EFI on it, and then it's got the sending unit and the filler neck. So Marcos asked me a question. He goes, how do you know what tank to put? I always do what I do, some tips on how to do that is what I do is I measure it. I measure like the size, the depth, the shape of it, because there are all kinds of tank. You can put any tank on any car, by the way. You can put, a lot of people use the 65 Mustang tank because it has the filler neck on the backside. You know what I mean? You can flip it around, but it's got a weird shape. But, like I said, the tank on this car, the original tank, it's like a big rectangle. It looked kind of like this, but a little skinnier. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, that looks the same. You know what I mean? But anyways, we scored because we found this tank, and then that's like, it looks vintage. It's sweet. It's got all the baffles inside. It's legit. You know what I mean? It's nice and square. It fits nice in there. So but the way I find the tanks, like I said, is you just measure the area that you're working with and make sure it's not too deep, or anything. The the filler neck's got to be in the right place. That way you'll be able to work with it. We're gonna do the filler neck right now, so hook it up from the side of the fender because the filler area is on the side, but this one comes with it in the middle. So we're gonna have to make a little tube to go down to the neck. You know what I mean? So that's what we're working on right now. But I'm pretty stoked on this. If you guys have any questions, shoot a comment or question. And I'll see if I can answer it. You know what I mean? Marco's got like a whole list of questions that people ask, and hopefully we'll get to them and stuff. But anyways, that's what we're working on. We have to go pick up the drive shaft, put the drive shaft on. We already got it measured, so we're looking good. Like I said, we're over the hump. We got the next. What we're gonna do is brake lines, fuel lines, all the plumbing. I always say like building a car is like building a house. You do all the structural, the the beams and the, I don't know what you call it in a house because I don't build a house, but you got all your skeleton and it goes up and then it just stays like that for a while and you got all the people working inside, doing the plumbing, the electrical, everything that goes on inside, so it's kind of like the same thing. This is what it looks like underneath the car when you lay it all out. We call it lay it out when you dump it on the ground, you know what I mean? In case you're like at a car show and you see a car like dumped on the ground and you're like, man, how do they drive it? Well, it's got air ride, and it goes up in the air and it moves, you know. Everything that you see here, it collapses all the way up. So we have to make all our link bars and stuff go up. This is what holds the differential. This is what pushes the car forward when it moves. So we got to make like swing arms for it to go up and down. You know what I mean? So whenever you see a car at a car show and it's all the way down on the ground and you're wondering, man, how do they drive it? It's like, the question is, man, they put a lot of work into that car to make it look like that, because it takes a lot of work to do this stuff, But I hope, when you guys are at a car show, you appreciate it and you get a kick out of it, and that's what's up, getting entertained by it. But it's all good, Like I said, now we're going to do the filler neck. Next week, we'll be doing the plumbing, all the plumbing. I want to do all the plumbing and the electrical and everything that goes behind. We got a few more weeks to go on it, and hopefully we'll get it running, burn some rubber. You know what I mean?
One question from last week, Mike. Somebody asked if they could put the Watts link in front of the diff and not behind it like you did this time.
You can do whatever you want. That's a good question. You can do whatever you want. I've seen guys, I always do it traditionally like this. There's some guys that put the link towards the back, and you can put the Watts link on the top. Obviously you got the drive shaft going down the middle, so you can't put it here. So if you can find a spot on the top, it'll work. You can. I didn't even think of this. You could probably even do it sideways on top of the differential, as long as the Watts link works. What the Watts link does is saves the differential from going side to side when you're driving. So, for example, the traditional, panhard bar that sits either on one side or you can put it cross. You guys see me do that before. What it does when the car goes up and down, the car moves side to side. Why? Because the length of the bar is like this far when it goes up, and then when it comes down, it gets longer. You know what I mean? Like, when it clocks. So when it clocks this way, then the differential goes sideways. Well, what the Watts link does, it doesn't let it go side to side. It just stays in the middle because it has a pivot right in the middle. So the pivot holds it from going side to side, and these move. This moves side to side. That's the difference between a Watts link and the panhard bar, because you always need something to hold the diff down. Now you can do what some guys do is they put the links, like a Y links, they put them sideways like this. Now a lot of times I've seen some guys put them on the top, and they'll put. The thing with the Y link is because you put the brackets on the top and you put a bracket on the bottom, you always get your third member to tilt forward or tilt back or stay straight, and you don't want that. That's not a good thing. I mean, not to me. If you're not going to drive the car and you're just going to show it at car shows, I guess it's a good thing. You want your third member always to stay the same at the same degree that you set it up, and that's what the 4-link does. It saves it from moving up and down or twisting. You know what I mean? So the reason why is because you only got X amount of oil in here. So if the differential's tilting too far down, all the oil goes too far forward, you got less oil in the back. If it goes too too far up, there's no oil in the bearings in the front, and all the oil's in the back, and that's not a good thing. You can burn your differential if you actually drive your car. You know what I mean? If you just put it on the trailer and show it, it'll work. You know, it won't burn your differential right away, but eventually it'll burn your gears. You know, a lot of people don't, you know, they don't really pay attention to that because the car goes up and down and it works, but then later there's a, what do you call it? Is it the right word? Repercussions. Repercussions.
Somebody
Yeah.
asked right now if you could ever add a pan hard bar or a Watts link after you've already fabbed up your 4-link.
Of course you can. Just chop off whatever you put on. You can always put it on. You know what I mean? Of course you can. Now doing the Watts link, it takes a little bit more work to do it, but it's a way better result. You know what I mean? And also the reason why I put a Watts link on this car versus other cars that I've done, because this car's got more space, and the Watts link takes a lot of space. It takes more space than the regular panhard bar. You know what I mean? There's a lot of advantages from doing the Watts link, but there's also less advantage. Like, you know, now we don't have a panhard bar running through here. We can clearly run our exhaust right through here, so it doesn't get in the way of the exhaust. So, like I said, normally a panhard bar takes a couple hours to do. A Watts link takes, you know, 8 or 9 hours, you know, so that's like the difference. If you have the time to do it, you're doing it on your own car, you know what I mean? And you got the space, it all boils down because sometimes we found this tank is shorter, so it saved the other one was longer, the original one, but this one's a little thicker, so we raised the floor up, you know what I mean, to get it above so it doesn't scrape, so when the car lays, it doesn't scrape. So we said, so I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, we got room to do a Watts link. A Watts link is always better. And this car right here has a 5-speed, you know what I mean? And now we can do some nice, sweet burnouts, you know what I mean? You know, so that's the reason why I went with the Watts link. So if you have the space and you have the time to do it, man. Do it for the experience because it's always fun to do it. They're always all the Watts links that I've ever done on cars are always different, you know, because of the space or the type of differential. You know, this is a 9-inch, so we're able to check it out. We're able to weld to the back of I've done it where we put a bar, I make like a box and we go like this and we go around. So this one it's a 9-inch, so it's all metal. So we're able to put the bracket right up against the third member in the back of it, you know what I mean? And this is what it looks like. This is the pivot, you know what I mean? And you know, you got to put a bearing that's gonna handle the weight and everything else in it. So you got to make sure you do that, you know.
A couple people asked if you still set it up for 3 degree.
Yes, sir. Every time. I know people say, well, what's the 3 degree for? I was told, I don't know what I'm doing, but I was told by an old rear end builder and build race cars. He says, you know, obviously this is not a race car, it's just a regular driver, but 3 degrees for the give. So you got bushings. You got the bushings, and the bushings give a little bit. So when you put the differential down 3 degrees is not a whole bunch. It's really light, you know what I mean? So when you put the 3 degree down, when the car takes off, it pushes back. It pushes everything, you know what I mean? So this twists a little bit because the bushings give a little bit. So you always want to have that right angle at the drive shaft so you don't get the vibration or the weird wear and tear, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I was told to do 3 degree. I wasn't born and I'm like, fuck, I know I'm gonna put the 3 degree. No, I was told that by a old builder, you know what I mean? And that makes sense to me. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So that's why I started doing it, and that's how I learned how to do that.
All right, you gonna show us what's up top with the sheet metal, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Go down, Byron. Everybody's talking about the wheelhouse. It's all small. That's cool, man. I really dig it too. The only problem with the small wheelhouse is he won't be able to get the wheel out. You know, like if he drives it, gets a flat or anything happens, you know, you don't know when you're on the road. You won't be able to get the wheelhouse. So if we do flush skirts, we'll bring him up a little bit. He can take his skirt out and still take his wheel out. You still want to be able to take your wheel out. That's good, Barry. So before Marcos got here, I was working on doing the filler neck. We made some access holes from the floor. This is what I'm talking about. We raised the floor out. We already put some caulking. We caulked it up. We raised the floor up 2.5 inches, right? 2.5 inches so it doesn't scrape the tank on the bottom. We made some access holes for the sending unit, the fuel hose, the sending unit for the fuel hose, and the neck. So we want to keep it OG from the outside. If you guys don't know what OG means, that means original. Anyways, we want to keep it OG from the outside. So I'm gonna run a neck. I'm gonna build the neck to run it here. You know what I mean? The fuel lines come on the top. We couldn't save them on the bottom. So we're gonna run it through here. Poke access holes and run them on the side, and then we'll do a cover here. Now you're thinking, oh man, that's gonna take up the trunk. Well, it's not. You wanna know why? Because this car can't bring that piece of wood over here. This is what's cool about this car. It doesn't have a super big tank. You know what I mean? Like the tank's not super large. I mean the tank, I'm sorry, the trunk, it's not as big as other trunks. You know what I mean? This was like, you know, back then, you know, from me talking to older dudes, they didn't make cars. They made cars for a reason. You know what I mean? Like everything had a purpose, you know? But anyways, look, check this out. So this, we're gonna put this came originally in here. Let's see if we can get it in, huh?
Oh, I think it's the first one.
Is it that one? Oh, this way.
There you go.
There you go. So this originally came in here. Like that. So everything's gonna be tucked underneath, which is kind of cool. Look at that. See the filler neck? So he still has a trunk because we're gonna put the air compressors underneath. I was thinking about mounting the air tank on the top. We'll make some kind of brackets. I think I'm pretty good at making brackets. What do you think? So we'll make some brackets and we'll put a little tube. The air tank will be up here. And then the compressors be down here. The filler neck will be down there. So he still has a trunk. You know what I mean? We'll put the compressors under there. I think we're good. You know? This is originally from the car. So we were able to, the way we made the floor is we made it, you know, Bobby said, hey man, Mike, can you keep my board right there? And I was like, Bobby, I see what I could do, dog. I see what I could do. But when he threw that in there, I was like, oh man, now I gotta make it happen. You know what I mean? Because that's how I roll, you know what I mean? Like, I love challenges. But anyways, that's pretty badass. Check it out. Get a picture from this side so you can check it out. See? So you're still gonna have a trunk. Not bad, huh? Not bad. So I know it looks weird when I'm doing the filler neck all on the bottom, but check it out. Huh? Pretty cool, huh? It's not gonna be in there obviously, but look at that. I like that. That's sweet. That is sweet. Anyways, so that's what we're working on. You know?
What's next is,
Get it out, Byron. You got more patience than me. I want to rip the car apart. So we did the floor. We put all new glass in it. I think we're doing pretty good. We're over the hump. We're over the hump. We're almost there. I can't wait to hear it run. We still got we still got all the plumbing, what you call plumbing. The exhaust, the brake lines, the fuel lines, everything that has to do with plumbing. We got to mount the front end. That's hopefully by next week we'll have the front end mounted. And check out that beautiful grill on there. and we'll have we got to mount the radiator and run all lines to the radiator, and we still got quite a bit of work, man. But that's where we're at now, and then we're gonna jump on this Packard. Let's talk. We want to talk about the Packard a little bit.
Yeah.
The Packard's a trip, man. All Packards were made this way, you know. You see right here. You see right here. These Packards already came with the IFS in the front, you know, like independent front suspension. And the thing with that is they didn't make like what is called the kick-up area on the frame. They made it straight. You see that right here? So the problem with that, when you put a IFS that we make today, is it doesn't leave room for the cross member to go down. You know, for the frame to go down and pancake, because it'll hit the cross member first. So what we have to do is make two frame rails, cut those off, make the frame rails, and put a kick-up area on it. That's how I did the last Packard that you guys saw, the homie Weiner's Packard. So this is gonna be that's gonna be the most challenging part, I think. I better shut up and not say nothing, because then everything gets all twisted up, and I thought that was gonna be the hardest part, but then the whole build turns out really hard. So I better shut up. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You're like, oh, shoot. Anyways, we're gonna be doing that, and then we're gonna do C-notch in the back and 4-link it. These two cars are pretty rare, but I'm kind of excited to start working on the drawings on this, you know. I like working my brain. Keeps me alive, you know what I mean? But, you know, I hope you guys are doing good, and you guys are enjoying the video. I know you guys want videos. You don't like the live ones, but you don't have to watch it now. You can watch it later, right? Hey, pretend it's Sunday. Put it on Sunday, you know. Have some coffee and donuts and stuff, you know. But anyways, we like to keep you guys updated on what we're doing and stuff, you know. And anyway, and we're still gonna be going to Australia, to the Tail Dragger show. What's the date on that?
First week in March.
First week in March, you know what I mean? So we're gonna be over there. I'm gonna be chopping a 36 Ford, not in public, but I'm gonna chop it, I think, at some shop or something. But I'm not too excited about that, because I don't know what I'm doing. They're gonna find out. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, that's what we're gonna be doing. So you guys make sure you guys check out that show if you guys are in Australia. If you happen to be in Australia, you know what I'm saying? Check it out, and I'll be there. And don't forget to come by and say what's cracking. You know what I mean?
Somebody already wrote a comment. They're gonna drive 10 hours to go see you at the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Don't forget. I can't wait, man. I'm kind of getting excited now. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be on the first week of March?
Yeah.
First week of March. You guys look it up. If you guys are down to go to Australia, let me know. I'm down. Let's go. We'll go on the same airplane. You know what I mean? It's gonna be sweet. You know what I mean? I'm excited about that. But that's what's coming up. You know what I mean? If you guys have any questions or comments, leave it on the page, or how you say that, the tube, and let me know, man. I'll try to answer them. I know sometimes I answer them, sometimes I don't. Hopefully I get to answer all your questions, but, say what's up, and don't forget to get a t-shirt, acá, homie, you know what I mean, so you can represent in your hood. Anyways, that's what we're doing today, you know what I mean? And hopefully you guys had a good week, and I'll see you guys next week, you know what I mean?